All right, wow. It's an incredible honor to be here today with so many people who are passionately committed to scientific integrity, imagine that, and who support the use of unbiased data to advance community and global health. Fix my situation here. So today, I hope my story and the message it conveys inspire you to continue the fight for that integrity and that commitment. I came to Maryland in October of 2023 to become the 6th director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Go NIAID. An organization famously and effectively led by Dr. Tony Fauci for decades. To be honest, there were very few jobs that would have prompted me to leave my beloved community and colleagues in Birmingham, Alabama, where I had been for 7 years. But this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. NIAID's legacy has propelled science forward in areas as diverse as HIV/AIDS, peanut allergy, tuberculosis, respiratory viruses, and malaria. And I could think of no bigger platform for global impact on the infections I'd worked my entire life to prevent and to treat. The job also offered the chance to work with incredible leaders like Dr. Monica Bertagnolli, the NIH director who hired me, Kimryn Rathmell, the director of the National Cancer Institute, Bill, and Kathleen Neuzil, the director of the Fogarty International Center. And to be honest, NIAID itself was ready for a healthy checkup, a fresh look. What needed to be done differently? How could we better support early and mid-career investigators? How could we scale the community involvement pioneered in HIV science to other conditions like long COVID and sexually transmitted infections? How could we shift from a heavy focus on the pathogen, the agent that infects people, to people themselves, especially the continuum of the host, the environment, and the pathogen, all of which interact to create the vulnerability to disease that we have heard so much about today? And how could we invest in the most exciting scientific advances while leveraging the considerable investments that NIAID had already made, for example, in an HIV vaccine and an HIV cure? So, I think you're likely aware that of the powerful and visionary women I mentioned above, and I am empowered to include myself in that group for the purposes of this speech, just for the purposes of this speech. None of us were retained in our positions. Although Drs. Bertagnolli and Rathmell were political appointees who submitted their resignations with the change in the administration, neither Dr. Neuzil nor I was. Rather, we remained in our positions and we vocally opposed the changes we saw in the first few months of 2025. From the cessation of funding to South Africa, a decision that halted the work of essential, life-saving, life-altering infectious disease research in HIV, malaria, and tuberculosis, to frank vilification of global work writ large, to abandonment of a commitment to vaccine development and biopreparedness. That is, biopreparedness meaning not just being prepared for the next pandemic, but also for the use of biological or chemical weapons. Sadly, a real worry in the current era. Kathy Neuzil and I both had a lifelong commitment to mentoring, which to us meant ensuring that everyone who wanted to be a physician scientist or an epidemiologist or an immunologist or a primary care provider had the best possible chance to change the world. Yes, that meant a very, very visible, lifelong commitment to championing equity, diversity, inclusion, and access. Obviously, this was very likely another incentive to erase us. We were never explicitly told why we were placed on administrative leave, almost exactly a year ago for me on March 31st. And in my case, I was never explicitly told why I was ultimately fired 6 months later. But it's very hard to imagine that our resistance did not play a role. So the theme of today's rally invokes shadows. Shadows can be beautiful, but they have no place in science. Real science is liberated and fearless in its quest to shine light into the deepest recesses of the universe, from cells to proteins to the space between subatomic particles and stars. It can be dimmed or redirected by political will or malign intent, but it can't, like data, die. Eventually, the light reaches where it needs to go. It's this light that has created so many breakthroughs, like the one that Bill told us about today. It's this light that has lit the path for so many people who have achieved outsized dreams of being at the forefront of scientific discovery, of medical care, of global health, of health diplomacy. And it's a light that we cannot stand by and see extinguished. It's going to take all of our collective persistence, vision, fight, and optimism to drive out these shadow masters who are puppet masters in the darkness and who are determined to keep us down. We're going to need all those qualities to restore faith and visibility to the global scientific enterprise and to ensure, critically, that we have a new generation of brilliant and diverse minds to get there. Yes. I am ready for this. I am all in, and I know you are too. Thank you.